Understanding the most basic and common Forex language is a weapon that every trader must have no matter their level of experience. So whether you are a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced trader, do not skip this video as I'm going to break down those complex Forex jargons that leave you scratching your head whenever you hear Forex traders speak. It's nothing confusing, and just as we learn a language to help us communicate better with people of the same niche, that's the same way Forex traders also use certain unique but simple languages to communicate when they are talking about the charts. I'll be explaining what a pip is, what is a bid and ask price, what is stop loss, what is leverage, what is break-even, and many other Forex terminologies that's going to help you solidify yourself in this Forex journey. Now, before I get into this video, I want you to do just one thing for me. Smash that subscribe button and like this video so YouTube reaches a lot of people who want to learn Forex trading with this video. Now let's get straight into the video. We'll begin with a term that sounds very familiar to people who have come into some form of contact with Forex traders, and this is the term bullish. Now, what do we mean by bullish? Bullish is a term that's used to signify an increment in price of a currency pair. So when you hear someone say they are bullish or they are long on a particular currency pair, what they simply mean is they are hoping for the price of that currency pair to go up. So when you hear someone say they are long, they are buying a currency pair, or they are bullish on a particular currency pair, it simply means they're expecting price to increase on that currency pair. Now, the complete opposite of bullish is bearish, meaning that we are hoping that price will come down. So when someone says they are bearish, they are short, or they are selling a particular currency pair, what they simply mean is they are hoping that the price of that currency pair would decrease or would come down. We'll be moving on to a term that you may use a lot in your day-to-day Forex activities, and this is the term take profit. Now, take profit is popularly denoted by the abbreviation TP. And this is a set of instructions that you send to your broker, telling your broker to close your profit and lock in your gains for you at a particular price. Now, the opposite of take profit is stop loss. Just as we intend to make profits, we can send instructions to our broker to close our losses for us at a particular price level to minimize further potential loss. The next terminology that I'll be talking about is risk management. Now, just as the name explains itself, this is a strategy tool that's used to minimize further potential loss and preserve your profit. Now, keep in mind that in this Forex game, the goal is to preserve your profit and protect your capital. Now, the stop loss is also a risk management tool that's used to protect your capital and prevent further potential loss. The next thing I'll be talking about is what we call break-even. Now, break-even in our normal grammar simply means zero. This means that when you enter the trade, you came with neither profit or losses. I hope that makes sense. The next thing I'll be talking about is the risk to reward ratio. Now, this is a risk management tool which is also used by traders or investors to assess their profit returns on a trade relative to the amount of risk that they have taken on the trade. So for example, you intend to risk $100 on a trade to potentially make $200 profit on it. So that's a 1:2 risk to reward ratio, meaning that you risk $100 to potentially make $200 or twice your amount you risk on a trade. Another set of terminologies I'm going to talk about is the bid price, ask price, and the spread. Now, the bid price is the highest price that a bidder or a buyer is willing to pay for a particular financial instrument, and the ask price, also known as an offer, is the minimum price that a seller is willing to pay for that same financial instrument. Now, the difference between the bid price and the ask price is what we call the spread. Now, let me give you an example. When you have a bid price at $100 and an ask price at $105, the difference between them is $5, right? So that $5 becomes the spread on that currency pair. I hope that makes sense. Now, the next terminology that I'm going to talk about is the term pips. And now listen, pip is something that as a Forex trader you would need to understand before you start trading on the market, because if you don't understand pips, you will lose money. It helps you calculate your profits or your losses. So let's begin. What is a pip? It simply means percentage in point, and this helps you measure the difference of price in a currency pair. The pip is also the fourth decimal place of a currency pair. I'll give you an example to understand what I'm talking about. Just hold on. So for example, we have GBP/USD moving from 1.2500 to 1.2505. Now, we said the pip is the fourth decimal place of a currency pair, right? Well, so based on the fourth decimal place of the currency pair, how many pips has that moved based on the last four numbers of the difference in price? Let me give you some time to think about it. Well, GBP/USD has moved 5 pips, and we arrived by this by simply subtracting 2500 from 2505, giving us 5, and that's the number of pips or the increment in price. So we have price moving by 5 pips. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's take another example to help you understand pips even better. Let's also assume GBP/USD has moved from 1.2500 to 1.2450. Let me give some time to also think about it. Do your math and get back into this video in just a second. Welcome back. Well, price has moved 50 pips and we simply arrived at this by subtracting 2450 from 2500. I hope that makes sense. And kudos to you if you got the answer right. This means you are really understanding what pips are and it's going to help you understand your Forex journey. But then if you don't really understand, I would advise that you pause this video and go back to what I've explained so far. And I'm very sure that's going to help you understand how to calculate pips. Now remember I mentioned that pip is the 4th decimal place of a currency pair, right? Well, there's a very unique exemption when it comes to the yen pairs. The calculation of the pip is at the 2nd decimal place instead of the 4th decimal place. That is the only unique exemption when it comes to calculating pips. The calculation for pips for the yen pairs is unique. So currency pairs such as USD JPY, GBP JPY, Euro JPY all have 2 decimal places instead of the normal 4 decimal place we have in most currency pairs. Let's assume USD JPY moves from 200.10 to 200.18. The 2nd decimal place in this currency pair is the 0 and the 8. So what you can simply do is by subtracting the 18 from the 10, and that gives you 8. That gives you 8 pips, meaning that USD JPY has moved 8 pips from 200.10 to 200.18. I hope that makes sense. Let's take another example so you understand how the yen pairs are calculated when it comes to their pip value. So let's take another example. Let's assume USD JPY moves from 200.10 to 200.05. Let me give some time to also think about this. I really want you guys to understand how the pip is calculated, and let's see if you get the answer right. Well, price has moved 5 pips, meaning that price has decreased by 5 pips or price has gone down by 5 pips. Another term under pips is the pipette. Now hold on, you may think it's becoming a lot, but trust me, you will really understand this thing in no time. The pipette is 1/10 of a pip, and this is usually the 5th decimal place of a currency pair by the 3rd decimal place of the yen pairs. So let's take a very simple example. Let's take an example. We have GBP USD moving from 1.25005 to 1.25059. So we can say GBP USD has moved from 5.4 pips from 1.5005 to 1.5009. I hope that makes sense. So to conclude on pips and to make sure that you really understand what pips are, pips help measure the difference in price or the difference in a currency pair, and pip is the 4th decimal place of a currency pair, and in unique cases is the 2nd decimal place of the yen pairs. Now under pips, we have pipette, which is also 1/10 of a pip. Leverage is probably one of the most common grammar we use in our day-to-day life, but means a slightly different thing when it comes to Forex trading. Leverage is using borrowed money to increase your profit return on a trade. Now it gives you the advantage to trade a larger amount of money relative to your account size. Now I know you may be thinking this sounds like a very good deal, but trust me, it's a double-edged sword when it comes to leverage. Now when I say a double-edged sword, what I mean is leverage can magnify your losses or magnify your profits greatly. So let's take for example, you have $1,000 in your account and you want to buy $10,000 worth of GBP USD. Now what this means is that your broker has to lend you $9,000 virtual money in order to increase your account to $10,000 to buy GBP USD. So in ratio terms, you are trading a 1:10 leverage because you are trading 10 times your $1,000 now. So with this leverage, when GBP USD increases by 10%, we're also going to get 10% of how much you bought the GBP USD for. Remember we mentioned that we wanted to buy $10,000 worth of GBP USD. So when it increases by 10%, it brings our balance to $11,000, which means you have made $1,000 profit off the trade. And how we arrive by this $1,000 is simply multiplying 10% by $10,000, giving you $1,000. Remember we borrowed $9,000 worth of virtual funds from our broker, right? So when the broker counts for the $9,000 from the $11,000, we are left with $2,000 as our money. Now in a very unfortunate scenario where the trade goes against you, meaning you have to return the $9,000 virtual money you borrowed from the broker back to your broker, and since the trade went against you 10%, your $1,000 is also gone and you are left with nothing. Now remember why I said leverage is a double-edged sword? It can magnify your losses greatly and can also magnify your gains greatly. Now moving on to what lot sizes are, they refer to a standardized volume or a quantity of a financial instrument which is being exchanged in the financial market. There are different types of lot sizes, which is going to give you a better understanding on what lot sizes are. The first type of lot size is the standard lot size. This is the largest lot size and refers to 100,000 units of the base currency. Now, if you don't know what a base currency is, go back to my videos on currency pairs to better understand what a base currency is before we move on. So for example, if you have a currency pair like GBP USD and we're placing an order to buy one standard lot of GBP USD, what this means is we are literally buying 100,000 Great British pounds. The next type of lot size is the mini lot. And now this is 1/10 of the standard lot size, meaning the mini lot is 10,000 units of the base currency. So when you enter a trade for a buy on GBP USD, what this means is we are buying 10,000 Great British pounds. The next type of lot size we'll be talking about is the micro lot, and this is 100 of the standard lot, which means 1,000 units of the base currency. So when you enter a trade and you key in to buy one micro lot on GBP USD, meaning you are trading 1,000 pounds. So bear in mind that the choice of lot size you use in a trade can greatly affect the outcome of your trade. When you use a larger lot size like a one standard lot, you are promised of a greater profit or a greater loss. Small lot sizes like the micro lot and the mini lot are used by traders who want to be very conservative when they are trading. So remember that all these lot sizes have their values per pip. One standard lot, which is also 100,000 units of the base currency, is $10 per pip. So when you are in a trade with a one standard lot and a trade goes 100 pips in your favor, that is $1,000 profit made for you. Now when it comes to the mini lot, you have $1 per pip when a trade goes in your direction or it goes into loss. And when it comes to the micro lot, which is also 1,000 units of the base currency, it is 0.1 cent a pip. So a quick recap on leverage to make sure that you understand everything we discussed in leverage and lot sizes. So remember that leverage is using borrowed money from your broker to potentially increase your profit return, and this is a double-edged sword because it can magnify your losses and also magnify your profit greatly. Do well to join my Telegram community at Trades Community, where I drop trade signals for people to make money on a day-to-day basis. Also follow me on Instagram at Trades and on TikTok at Trades. So like this video so YouTube can recommend it to other beginners who want to learn about Forex. Also do well to share this video to social media with family and friends and also other people who want to learn about Forex, because in the long run, the goal is to make you guys professional Forex traders through my educational content videos. This is Trades right here, and I'm out.